The last thing she said to me was, "You and I want different things, Emeka, and I'm tired of pretending that love is enough to fix that." She didn't slam the door. She didn't cry. She just picked up her bag, that worn leather bag she carried everywhere, and she walked out of my apartment in Yaba. It was a Wednesday. It was raining. I stood at the window and watched her get into a cab. She didn't look back. I told myself that was the proof that she had never loved me the way I loved her, that people who love you look back. I was wrong about that. I was wrong about a lot of things, but it took me 4 years, 2 cities, and one unexpected Sunday morning to understand what we actually were to each other and what we could still become. My name is Emeka. I grew up in Onitsha, the kind of city that teaches you to move fast, negotiate hard, and trust very few people. My father was a trader. My mother sold fabrics in the main market. By the time I was 12, I could calculate profit margins in my head faster than most adults could on paper. I came to Lagos at 22 with 40,000 naira, a bag, and an ambition that was frankly too large for my circumstances. I hustled, I built, I failed, I rebuilt. By 27, I was running a small logistics company in Yaba. Nothing spectacular, but it was mine. I met Chidinma at a friend's art exhibition in Ikoyi. She was standing in front of a painting, a large, chaotic, colorful thing that I honestly could not understand. And she was completely still, like the whole room was noise, and she was the only quiet thing in it. I walked over and said the most honest thing I could think of. "I don't understand this painting at all, do you?" She turned and looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, "That's exactly the point." And she walked away. I spent the rest of that evening trying to find her again. Chidinma was from Enugu, a family of academics and civil servants. Her father was a retired professor. Her mother, a former headmistress. She was a graphic designer with a quiet but fierce artistic vision. We were different in every way that seemed to matter. I was loud. She was still. I thought in numbers. She thought in colors. I wanted to build fast. She wanted to build well. I grew up counting coins. She grew up counting sunsets. But somehow, from that first conversation about a painting neither of us could explain, we fell into something neither of us could explain either. We dated for 2 years. They were the most alive 2 years of my life. She taught me to slow down, to walk through a museum without checking my phone, to sit in traffic without calculating lost hours, to eat a meal without discussing business. I taught her to fight for herself, to negotiate her design fees, to stop apologizing for taking up space in rooms that were lucky to have her. We were good for each other in ways neither of us expected, but we were also genuinely very different. I wanted to expand, to open 3 more logistics hubs by 30. She wanted to go back to school, to study art formally in London. I wanted a wedding in 2 years. She wanted to find herself first. I wanted to build a life. She wanted to build herself. Neither of us was wrong, but we couldn't find a way to do both together. The arguments started small, then they became a pattern, until that Wednesday, until that leather bag, until the cab in the rain, and the window I stood at long after she was gone. The first year without her was productive. I threw everything into the business, opened the second hub, hired 12 new staff, worked 16 hours a day, and called it healing. The second year, I dated someone else, a kind, beautiful woman who deserved far better than a man who still paused whenever he heard Burna Boy, because Chidinma had made him listen, really listen, to the lyrics. I ended it honestly. She deserved that much. The third year, I traveled. Ghana, Rwanda, London for a logistics conference. In London, walking through a gallery in Shoreditch on a Saturday afternoon because I had 2 hours to kill before a meeting. I saw a painting on the wall, large, chaotic, colorful, and I stood in front of it completely still. And I finally understood what she had meant. That's exactly the point. I sat down on the bench in front of that painting, and I did something I had not done in 3 years. I cried, not for the relationship, not for what we had lost, but for the version of myself she had been quietly building, the one who could finally stand still long enough to understand a painting. I took a photo of it. I almost sent it to her. I didn't, not yet. I came back to Lagos in January. A mutual friend, Ada, called me out of nowhere one Sunday morning. She said, "Emeka, I am going to tell you something, and you are going to act normal and not be dramatic about it." I said, "Okay." She said, "Chidinma is back. She finished her program in London. She's been back 3 weeks. She's doing well. She asked about you." I said, "What did she ask?" Ada said, "She asked if you were still the same." I was quiet for a long time. Then I said, "What did you tell her?" Ada said, "I told her to find out herself." I called Chidinma that evening. The phone rang 4 times. On the 5th ring, she picked up. She said, "I wondered how long it would take you." I said, 3 weeks apparently. She laughed, and just like that, 4 years collapsed into a single sound. That laugh, that specific laugh, the one that started quiet and then surprised even her. I had forgotten how much I had built my whole world around that sound without ever realizing it. We met for coffee in Lekki the following Saturday. I arrived 10 minutes early. I had not done that for anyone in 4 years. She walked in wearing a yellow dress, the kind of color I would never have noticed before London. I noticed everything. We talked for 4 hours, not about us, not about the past, about what we had each become. She had studied, struggled, grown, built a design studio in London with 2 partners, now bringing it home to Lagos. I had built, lost, rebuilt, learned, discovered, slowly, painfully, that fast was not always better, that some things needed time to become what they were supposed to be, like us. At the end of that coffee, which had turned into lunch, then into a walk along the lagoon, she stopped and said, "Are you still the person who wants everything finished by 30? I said, "I am the person who stood in front of a painting in London and finally understood it." She was quiet. Then she said, "Which painting?" I showed her the photo on my phone, the one I had taken in Shoreditch, the one I had almost sent her. She looked at it for a long time. Then she looked up at me and said, "That's the painting I did in my 2nd year of the program. It was in a student exhibition. They kept it on the wall." I stared at her. She stared at me, and we both started laughing at the same time. The kind of laughing that has tears in it. The kind that only happens when life shows you something so perfectly designed that you know, beyond all logic, that it was never an accident. We got married 11 months later. Small ceremony, family, close friends. Chidinma wore ivory. I wore the agbada my father had made for me, that I had never worn because I was always too busy to find an occasion. At the reception, Ada gave a speech. She said, "These 2 people spent 4 years becoming who the other one needed. They just didn't know that's what they were doing." I have thought about those words every day since, because I think that is true of so many of us. We meet the right person at the wrong time. We leave because we are not ready. We spend years becoming ready, not knowing that is exactly what we needed to do. And sometimes, if you are very lucky, the universe holds that person in place long enough for you to arrive. I am not saying every lost love comes back. I am not saying every broken thing can be repaired. Some goodbyes are final, and that is its own kind of truth. But I am saying this: become the person you needed to be, not for anyone else, for yourself, and trust that what is truly meant for you will still be standing there, or will find its way back when you are finally ready to receive it. Chidinma and I now run something together. Her design studio handles all creative work for my logistics company. We fight about fonts and delivery routes in equal measure. It is the best arrangement I have ever made. Subscribe to Shattered Trust every week. A new story, not always betrayal, not always pain. Sometimes just the beautiful, complicated truth of what it means to be human. See you next week.